In the opening moments of the Bondi Beach attack, when gunfire erupted and panic spread through more than 1,000 people gathered for the Hanukkah celebration, most people ran. 2 people did not. Boris and Sofia Gurman stepped forward. Dashcam footage appears to show the couple confronting a suspected attacker in those first chaotic seconds. Witnesses say they moved fast, and the dashcam clip appears to show them stepping toward the suspect as the first shots were fired at the Jewish gathering. Boris was 69 years old. Sofia was 61, according to family statements, and the fundraiser established in their memory. They were not security professionals. They were not trained for combat. They were a retired mechanic and a postal worker who had been married for 34 years. And when they saw the chaos unfolding, they did not run. They stepped in. Police identified the older suspect as Sajid Akram. Dashcam video circulated online appears to show a struggle as he exits the car, according to major outlets. The dashcam clip appears to show Boris wrestle a gun away for a moment, according to the footage and family accounts cited by major outlets. The footage shows Boris and Sofia Gurman moving toward danger when everyone else was moving away. Witnesses describe what they did as quiet courage. There was no shouting, no dramatic gesture, just 2 people in their 60s stepping between a suspected attacker and their community. For a few seconds, the suspect appears to be delayed, and that may have given others time to run or take cover, according to witnesses. Every moment the suspected attacker was delayed was a moment someone else could escape. Moments later, both Boris and Sofia Gurman were fatally shot. Multiple reports describe them as among the earliest killed in the attack. They died together as they had lived together for more than 3 decades. They died protecting strangers who shared their faith in their community. Australian media report that the Gurmans are now considered among the first victims, but many are describing them not as victims but as heroes. Their intervention may have disrupted the opening moments and helped others get away, but investigators are still piecing together the sequence. Witnesses and reports suggest the Gurmans' intervention may have slowed the opening moments, but the exact impact cannot yet be measured. By confronting the suspected attacker immediately, they may have created confusion and delay. Police say the suspects arrived armed, and investigators say items linked to ISIS were found in the vehicle, including flags and improvised explosive devices. More than 1,000 people had gathered for the Hanukkah celebration. But in those first seconds, the Gurmans appear to have confronted the suspect instead of fleeing, according to the footage. Multiple accounts suggest several civilians tried to intervene during the attack. Investigators are still confirming the full sequence. The Gurman sacrifice appears to have inspired what came next. Their courage set an example that other civilians would follow. Minutes after Boris and Sofia fell, another man would charge at the suspected attackers. To understand who Boris and Sofia Gurman were is to understand why they did what they did. They were part of Sydney's Jewish community, and multiple outlets describe them as longtime Bondi locals. Some reports note roots in Russia. They were described by those who knew them as residents who led sincere and hardworking lives. Boris worked as a mechanic before retiring. Sofia worked for Australia Post, the National Postal Service. They were ordinary people living ordinary lives in a community they loved. Their marriage of 34 years was approaching a milestone. They were nearing their next wedding anniversary, according to their family. They had built a life together, raised a family together, and went to celebrate Hanukkah together at Bondi Beach. The GoFundMe established for their family describes Boris and Sofia as individuals of deep kindness, quiet strength, and unwavering care for others. The description continues. Dedicated to family and each other, they were the heart of the family. According to their family, Boris and Sofia were known in their community for treating everyone with compassion, warmth, respect, and dignity. This characterization reflects decades of community involvement and personal relationships built over a lifetime in Bondi. What makes their intervention even more significant is that they were not people trained for crisis response. They were not military veterans, security guards, or first responders. They were citizens whose instinctive reaction was to protect their community. That instinct did not come from nowhere. It came from lives lived in service to others. It came from 34 years of partnership where they supported each other and those around them. It came from being the kind of people their family describes as having deep kindness and unwavering care. When shots rang out at the Hanukkah celebration, Boris and Sofia Gurman responded with the values they had lived by for decades. Their final act was consistent with everything their family and community knew about them. The timing of the tragedy adds another layer of heartbreak. Her family says Sofia was only days away from her next birthday. The couple had gone to Bondi Beach to celebrate Hanukkah, unaware that it would be their last celebration together. They were in the best years of their marriage, 34 years together, an anniversary approaching, a birthday to celebrate, the simple pleasures of a life well lived with the person you love. All of it ended in moments on a beach where they had been part of the community for decades. The attack was supposed to be the first night of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. Over 1,000 people gathered to mark the occasion. Families brought children. The community came together as it had for years. Boris and Sofia were among them, celebrating their faith and their community. Instead of lighting candles and sharing joy, the Gurmans found themselves facing gunfire. Instead of celebrating Sofia's upcoming birthday, their family is now mourning their loss. Boris and Sofia Gurman will be remembered not for how they died, but for what they did in their final moments. They will be remembered as ordinary citizens whose instinct was to protect their community. Witnesses and reports suggest their intervention may have slowed the opening moments, but the exact impact cannot yet be measured. They may have given other civilians time to flee or seek cover. Their courage appears to have inspired other interventions that followed. The couple, who spent 34 years caring for family and community, spent their final seconds doing the same thing. They protected people they may not have known personally, but who shared their community and their faith. Many are describing them as heroes for stepping in during those opening moments. That description is based on footage, witness accounts, and family statements. It is also based on knowing who Boris and Sofia Gurman were and understanding that their final act was consistent with lives lived with deep kindness and care for others. The Gurmans were among the first to act, but they were not the last. Their courage appears to have inspired what followed. Minutes later, another act of heroism unfolded on Bondi Beach. Ahmed al Ahmed, a Syrian-born Sydney shop owner, saw what was happening and moved toward the danger, not away from it. According to his cousin speaking to the BBC, he could not bear to see people dying. Multiple accounts suggest several civilians tried to intervene during the chaos. Investigators are still confirming the full sequence. Footage shows at least one civilian disarming a suspected attacker. The Gurmans' example appears to have rippled through the crowd. A retired mechanic and a postal worker showed what was possible. They showed that ordinary people can make a difference. Ahmed al Ahmed is a 43-year-old Syrian-born father of 2 daughters who owns a shop in Sydney. According to his cousin speaking to the BBC, he was driven by a simple impulse that day. He could not bear to see people dying. Al Ahmed was not at Bondi Beach for the Hanukkah celebration. He had gone to get a cup of coffee with friends and relatives, an ordinary afternoon that became an extraordinary moment. In widely shared video aired by major outlets, Al Ahmed appears to approach from behind and wrestle a rifle away from a suspected attacker. He lunged from behind, wrapping his arms around the suspect and forcibly disarming him. Reports say he was shot multiple times during the intervention. His family say the wounds are serious and he needs further treatment. His family and media reports say doctors are concerned about long-term damage to his arm. After visiting him in hospital, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called him a true Australian hero. The Prime Minister said Al Ahmed shines out as an example of the strength of humanity. The public response to both acts of heroism has been extraordinary. A GoFundMe set up for Ahmed al Ahmed has raised over 2 million Australian dollars, according to international reports. Donations continue to pour in from around the world. A separate GoFundMe has been established for the Gurman family. The page describes Boris and Sofia as individuals of deep kindness, quiet strength, and unwavering care for others. People who never met them are contributing to support the family they left behind. The global response reflects something beyond gratitude. It represents an affirmation that the values the Gurmans and Al Ahmed demonstrated, protecting others regardless of personal risk, are values worth celebrating. Al Ahmed's uncle told BBC Arabic from Syria, "He made us proud. Our village, Syria, all Muslims, and the entire world." Similar sentiments are being expressed about Boris and Sofia Gurman from the Jewish community and beyond. Officials say the attack targeted the Jewish community. Leaders are urging unity to avoid backlash and division. A Jewish couple in their 60s stepped toward an armed suspect to protect their community. A Syrian-born Muslim man risked his life to save Jewish families celebrating Hanukkah. Their religions were different. Their humanity was the same. Prime Minister Albanese stated, "We will not allow this country to be divided. That is what the terrorists seek. We will unite. We will embrace each other, and we will get through this." Trump praised Al Ahmed's actions, according to Reuters. Reuters. Leaders from across the political spectrum have united in recognizing both the Gurmans and Al Ahmed as examples of courage. Boris and Sofia Gurman will be remembered for their 34 years of marriage, their deep kindness, and their final act of courage. Ahmed al Ahmed is recovering in hospital, surrounded by the love of his family and the gratitude of a nation. Together, their stories define what happened at Bondi Beach. Not hatred, but heroism. Not division, but humanity.